guys.
All right.
Public safety.
Like, what's going on? And you guys have like the same color shirt. What?
I don't know.
It's like, I just want to get it flow through and now.
Oh. Never mind.
Go stay here.
Which is hard to do. You have to go over that 50 miles an hour. Okay.
Make sure you. Yeah.
You guys are both running for the same position.
Meeting, he was just here. Just 2 minutes. I'm ready to read.
Right, get in there. Okay.
Thank you. All we've done.
Wait, but what if I'm trying to get rid of competition?
Neither of us.
We're not doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that there was 100 people.
That'd be awesome. Imagine that.
And then maybe I heard.
I started in like voting membership setting. You know.
Are these the same chairs I've been in here? They feel different. I don't know why.
I got
Wait, Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You don't like
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want pretty good. Maybe like fine.
Okay.
That's the thing about
I feel cool today.
Maybe you do.
About evil.
Excited.
I mean, well,
Okay,
I just can't because
my bag.
something in the will fall.
Order roll call. Senator Baker. Senator Bolio.
Here.
Senator Bissonnette.
Here.
Senator Bouchard.
Here.
Senator Brown.
Here.
Senator Desai. Senator Godek.
Here.
Senator Gilmartin.
And then.
Senator Holman. Senator Hunt.
Present.
Senator Kilday.
Here.
Senator Lipscomb.
Here.
Senator Lemieux.
Here.
Senator Lucier.
Here.
Senator McCarthy. Senator McKiernan.
Here.
Senator Miller. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Piacenza.
Here.
Senator Raymond.
Here.
Senator Scorpa. Senator Shamorad. Senator Silver. Senator Stearns.
Here.
Senator Thurston.
Here.
Senator Weiner. Chairperson Amaya.
Here.
Chairperson Cloutier. Chairperson Greenwood.
Here.
Chairperson Peralt. President. Secretary Bronson. I'm here. Vice President Souza.
Here.
President Kaufman.
Present. All right, we have a lot to talk about today, so let's just go ahead and get started. At this time, I make the motion to accept the minutes from the 2/4/2025 meeting.
Second.
All right, are there any additions, revisions, or deletions to these minutes? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor? Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. At this time, I make the motion to suspend the agenda.
Second.
Okay, hearing a second. Just really quickly, I want Greg Matthews is going to be a little late, and I want him to be here for a conversation that we're going to have later on in the meeting. So we're going to move out of order of the agenda. Out of full transparency, I'm going to give you the order right now. We're going to do the election updates, club constitutions, club creations. Then we're going to do visitors' comments, the reports, both the executive and liaison special committee reports. And then we're going to do the reclamations discussion. and then senators' comments and adjournment. So I'm going to put that motion to a voice vote. All those in favor? Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Okay. First for new and existing business and under the suspended agenda, election updates. I'll hand the floor off to Vice President Souza.
Hi, so I have a few updates about the order, like I guess the timeline of the election. So packets came out on the 20th, last Thursday, if you weren't aware. If you're planning on running again, make sure you go back to student involvement, second floor of the campus center, sign out a packet. Packets are due on March 7th. The last day to pick up a packet is March 6th. So make sure you give yourself enough time. We made sure there's a lot of time to get your signatures this year. But still, it does take a little bit of time. So just make sure you're getting your packet and that you're like trying to publicize it to other people. Hopefully, please. The meetings, the mandatory election meetings that you have to go to in order to be eligible to run will be on the March 4th and March 6th. So the Tuesday and the Thursday, I believe, were the days of the week. In the old Senate chambers in the campus center, it's like the upstairs with the red chairs, that room. Campaigning is beginning on Friday, the 21st. Elections will be on the 27th, and then transitions will be on the 8th. So there's a pretty long timeline for elections this year because we wanted to make it as accessible as possible to everybody. There's also been posts on the social media, thanks to Chairperson Greenwood. All of this information is also in the packets in case I spoke too fast for somebody to understand. But yeah, so all of this information is posted and in the packets. So make sure you're telling people that elections are happening now and that if you're planning on rerunning, you're doing that as soon as possible.
Can you just say how to get to where to get the packets? Because that's the question that I get the most.
Yes. So you go into the campus center. I would recommend walking back past the bold media sweeps. There's like a big thing on one of the windows and on the doors, walking past that and walking up the first staircase you see. If you remember where the old student involvement was from the fall, it's the staircase right next to that. You just walk upstairs and immediately once you get upstairs, it's the hub. You know where the hub is? There's this like gray divider room kind of thing. It also says student involvement on the door and there's going to be a student worker in there. A lot of the time it'll be me or Cam. That's the student worker in there. So it should be pretty easy to find, but if you have any trouble, you could also ask the hub desk worker and they'll point you to where student involvement is.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments about the election updates? Chairperson Greenwood.
Just so you know, I'm the current PR chair, but I cannot campaign campaign on the social media for Senate itself. I will gladly help you on how to do that, but I cannot do it on the Senate page, just to put that out there and make that clear.
Any posts that she makes are just vaguely about the election itself. She can't repost anything that you post, like the way normally, like if you make a post for like a club you're in, like Senate will repost it. We can't do that with the elections since technically it's like free for all situation because it's the spring election.
It would inspire bias, so that's why I can't do it.
Senator Gallagher.
I know on the packet, it said that the seats for the colleges were like the numbers that we had, but you got more data to possibly see if they would adjust. Do you have an update on that?
They very minimally adjusted. I think the only situation, none of the seats went down. I can promise you that. I believe there was 2 seats that went up. I want to say it was commuter and then one other went up. But I can get those numbers for the next Senate meeting or send something in the group chat because I did the math out yesterday. I just don't think I have those. I wrote it down like a sticky note and I don't think I have it with me. But 2 constituencies went up and none of them went down.
Okay.
So I do know that.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we are going to move on to the Constitution amendments. I'm going to hand the floor off to Chairperson Amaya.
At this time, I make the recommendation for the Student Senate to recognize and accept Community Action Rewards Everyone, also known as CARES Revised Constitution.
Second, or so moved.
Second.
I'm going to allocate 1 minute to this conversation. The floor is yours.
Great. So CARES Constitution had not been revised since like 2015. So this was really just changing some of the wording, changing what used to be considered their executive board. And I'd just like to pass it off to the representative to discuss some of the changes further. You can speak from there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so the changes we made were really taking away, like chairperson, e-board positions and making it strictly president, vice president, secretary, treasurer to fit more closely with what other clubs have and what we think works best, because CARE used to be very deeply rooted in 4 pillars of service, but we don't want to be constrained by those. We want to have the ability to do events and activities relating to other causes that our members care about a lot. And so that was one change. And then also just changing bi-weekly to weekly meetings, because we think that weekly meetings are helpful for keeping the members engaged and involved. And we've found that they work better than bi-weekly for us.
Are there any questions or comments? Okay, seeing, or,
Can you just state your name for the minutes, please?
Oh, Elizabeth Bartman.
all right, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Next, moving to the UME Constitution updates, I'll hand the floor back to Chairperson Amaya. Oh, sorry, to Senator McKiernan.
At this time, I make the motion for Student Senate to recognize and accept the revisions made to United and Mutually Equals Constitution.
Second. All right, since I seconded, I'm gonna allocate 1 minute and 30 seconds to this conversation. The floor is yours.
This is something the entire legislative committee looked at and agreed that the changes made were more beneficial. Is there a representative here, or do you want to talk about that?
I'm Cole Strzelecki. I'm secretary in UME. Basically, our changes involved revising a few of the e-board positions' duties to better match what they've been doing over the past couple years, as well as just correcting a few misnamed departments on campus to their updated and current names.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments about these amendments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Next, moving into the updates for the Westerner, the floor is yours, Chairperson Amaya.
At this time, I make the recommendation for the Student Senate to recognize and accept the Westerner's revised constitution.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a second, I'll allocate 1 minute, 30 seconds. The floor is yours again.
So very similar to CARE, Westerner had not updated their constitution since I believe 2018. Changed some old outdated wording, basically calling the Office of Student Involvement, Student Affairs. We changed it to the other. And then took out some executive board positions that were not being filled and had not been used for a while. And I'd like to pass the floor off to the representative of the club to discuss further changes.
Yeah, like Cole Strzelecki again, but like Senator Amaya said, we had a few extra e-board positions that have been used in years and have been implemented into other e-board positions that we decided to get rid of because they're not being used. And just again, a few updates to names that have been updated over the years that needed to be changed.
Any questions or comments about these amendments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. All right, next, moving into club creation, and I'll hand the floor off to Chairperson Amaya.
Thank you. At this time, I make the recommendation for the Student Senate to recognize and accept the Pickleball Club and its constitution.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a second, I'm going to allocate 2 minutes to this conversation. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so a little different. This is a club creation. They've been trying to gain recognition since like fall of 2024. However, just because of timing and working with the Office of Student Involvement, it's gone onto the floor now. They want to provide another way for students to become physically and socially active on campus by bringing pickleball. And I'd like to hand the floor off to a representative of the club to talk about it a little bit more.
All right, so my name is Gloria Suze. It's really nice to see you all. So basically, we came up with this idea to create a pickleball club here at WNE. As you may be aware or not, pickleball has been becoming like more famous this year, this past summer, and we do hope to create this like new campus club to get the students involved. As the senator said, just create a new opportunity for the students to create like a sense of community here and to be more active, since pickleball doesn't require too much physical like fitness. They don't need to be prepared for it, but it's a good opportunity for them to reach, like the healthy goals that they have while like developing this sense of community here. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments about the pickleball club? Yes.
What is the name of your treasurer?
The treasurer?
Christina Salinas.
Okay, my name is Noah. I'm the treasurer and finance committee chair, so I'll reach out to you to help you guys get your budget set up.
Senator Bouchard.
So, do you guys know where like you guys will like take part in like pickleball? Is that like something you want to do with the tennis courts? Is there something that you guys plan to build, maybe with funding in the future or something like that, or like do they hope to go with that?
Yeah, definitely. So the good thing about pickleball is that it can be easily adapted. So we do plan on buying, like with the budget, like the net, which is like movable, so we can use the tennis court and adapt it to the pickleball court. Or during winter time, we can easily just put the net inside like the courts like on the gym and just adapt it to as well. I shouldn't like be a problem.
Senator Scorpion.
Do you have like a way that people could reach out to you now, like a group me or like a group chat that you could get involved in? Interested?
Oh, definitely. So we have created a list already of interested members, but we can definitely easily create a group me chat or any other platform like a Kodiak page or anything.
Any other questions or comments? Senator Bissonnette.
Okay, just as like a clarifying question, even though pickleball is like technically a kind of sport, are they being formed under a regular club and not a club sport?
Any club sport for their first year has to be a regular club. It's whether they choose to become a club sport. And Chairperson Amaya said she would talk to them if that's something they're interested in doing after their first year.
Okay, the time has expired, so we're gonna move into a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Congratulations. I cannot wait to see what you guys have in store. Next, we're going to move into visitors' comments. Are there any visitors' comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, we are going to move into reports, executive reports, and we're going to do the finance committee report. I'm going to allocate.
Thank you. The only thing I have in my report for this week is that February's Club and Organization Monthly Report is going to be due this Sunday on March the 2nd by 10 p.m. Over the weekend, I posted an announcement in the student leadership Kodiak and followed up with an email just informing all about that, and I will send another one probably this Saturday, just day before a reminder. I'm happy to share. I've actually already had 12 submissions so far, so we look to be on a good pace for that. That's all I have to report.
All right, legislative 2 minutes.
Great. So 9 out of the 18 clubs have revised and/or confirmed a recent revision. Of the 9 clubs that have not contacted us, all have been contacted by the legislative committee at least. And 5 out of those 9 clubs have communicated to me or someone else in the committee that they are on their way to completing it. The clubs that have not gone back to us yet are Women in Business, Black Student Union, and ASME. So if you know someone on this club or are an executive board member on this club, please reach out to me. And pickleball was created today. That is all I have for my report.
Thank you. Campus relations, 2 minutes.
Reached out to facilities about the walkthrough dryers, and they're working to replace those, but previously students have been directed to scan QR codes, and facilities still like us to do that, but you also need to fill out a work order because that's still the way that they can really know that the machines are broken.
Thank you. And that's a big thing for students to know. Please keep in mind, I know we've been telling people in the past, like only to call that number, and then we've heard it's just a dial tone. Please put in work orders so they actually know they are broken. And if there is a QR code, scan it. Public relations, 2 minutes.
So I have a couple things. If you've been on the Senate Instagram, we've been doing takeovers of our e-board. I did mine last week. And if you didn't watch it, they're in the highlight section, which will be all of ours, and they will all be made into reels. Just more stuff to post. It's fun to watch. Dom is doing his today. And I know we're all in PJ pants for those of you are in PJ pants. But I know we have a really tight agenda today, so if we could take a PJ picture afterwards, that would be great, Cam. That a yes after?
I'll try my best.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my report.
Okay. Next, moving to liaison and special committee reports, starting with the academic secretary, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm gonna try and keep it quick, but I reached out to the deans of the colleges because I wanted them to have the opportunity to come and talk to us about current developments going on within each of the colleges so that we can be more connected on campus, as well as talk about any further developments that might be going on. Unfortunately, due to the weather last week, Dean Walker couldn't come for their scheduled date, so I will be reaching back out to them for a new date. For Dean Pizzuto from pharmacy, they will be coming on March 4th, and for engineering and arts and sciences, also tentative dates, so keep a lookout for that. Also on March 4th, we're going to be having the new provost, Provost Solofsky, coming over to talk about leadership turnover, be able to congratulate them on their new role, as well as thank Provost Toyota for the work that they did when they were here on campus. So keep an eye out for that as well. I also reached out to the registrar, and we had a great conversation about current things going on campus. They just finished their first rough draft of the new Golden Bear Discovery, which we got to talk about a few months ago. So that's going well, hopefully implementing that into the new schedule for fall of 2025. He also informed me that priority registration is taking place the first week of April, so make sure to put that on your agenda, speak with your advisors, update your information as well. And then we also were talking about the new potential streamlining for more study abroad options. So that I will hopefully be able to talk to you more about around the time of registration as well.
Thank you. I did hear as well that the Faculty Senate is working very, very hard, looking at every single academic program and how exactly the Golden Bear Discovery Plan will play into them. So I'm going to assume that there's going to be more information coming out about that soon. Obviously, it won't affect most of us in this room, but it's still something good to know about and know that we did play a part in that process. So thank you. Next spring event, I'm going to allocate 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't really have much to share at this time, but things are moving smoothly. Our release party is upcoming. That will take place in March, so keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, we are still just moving through the planning process, and a lot is still confidential.
Okay. Thank you. Next is Sex Week. I have an announcement about this. I'm going to go over it a little bit more with you guys when Greg gets here, but as of right now, Sex Week will no longer be happening and they will no longer be giving reports. I apologize to Senator McKeon and Senator Bissonnette for all their hard work in it so far. Hopefully it's something that we will bring back in future years, but as of right now, it is indefinitely postponed. Are there any comments from either one of you two about it? Or?
Say like planning was going great and everything. Yes, but yeah, it's just a little disappointing, but move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your understanding. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Next, we're just going to move on to the International Student Affairs Committee in 2 minutes.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So we were gonna have an event like during the start of the semester for like a welcome meet and greet session for all the internationals. But due to the government policy, we cannot have access to all the list of the students. That's against the law. So we had to cancel that. But with that, we are organizing an event like in the next 2 weeks before the spring break, which is going to be an informative session kind of a thing for all the internationals who are willing to participate. I reached out to Amber Babashi, and he suggested that I keep the event open for everyone to participate, including the graduates. The event is gonna have nothing but like student resources, some basic rights and responsibilities, the summer accommodation and storage information on campus job opportunities without work study, and some immigration processes for internships and everything. So that's one thing we're doing. Also, I did have a word with Wee Chan, who's the international club chairperson or the president, I'm not sure. And we have decided to collaborate for a common social media platform to avoid confusion with all the international students so that they would have just one platform to check. With that, we also discussed that both the participants will be, like the participants of the club as well as the committee will be available to volunteer for any events organized. And with that said, the International Club is organizing an event soon, which is Holi, the Festival of Colors. So I hope you all participate. Again, if anyone is interested in celebrating a particular festival or a culture which we do not have in America, please reach out to myself or VTran so that we're just trying to encourage as much as diversity as we can. So I hope to hear from you all if you have anything. Thank you.
I see a hand. So at this time, I seek unanimous consent to just add 30 seconds to this discussion. Okay. Seeing no objections, the floor is yours, Chairperson Cloutier.
Not yet, because I want to hear back from Res Life and Greg and everyone so that I could have some relevant information to pass on. So if I hear back from them as soon as possible, I'll be posting it on Kodiak or announcing soon. Okay.
Yeah. This is obviously the first year that we've had this committee on Student Senate. I want to thank you for all your hard work so far. We definitely see all the things that you've been doing and all the things that you've brought to the table for us too. It's been very instrumental. And I hope that some of the things that you are working on are things that happen for years to come so that these resources are constantly pushed out to the international student body. So thank you very much. Next, health and well-being report. I'm going to allocate 2 minutes.
All right. Not too much to share at the moment. I've been meeting with Lauren and the team of directors pretty much every other week. However, due to some meeting cancellations and also communication issues, we have been put on a hiatus for the schedule I had originally planned. We're working on creating a forum to put out on behalf of Student Senate, just to collect general feedback from the student body regarding services, either counseling, medical, just whatever the center's offering to provide, as well as possibly scheduling future programs moving forward. Once I get an updated schedule of when I'm looking to have that out for either critique or feedback, I will have that probably by tomorrow, because that is when I'm meeting with Lauren next.
Yes. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments about any of the liaison or special committee reports? Okay, seeing none, senators' comments. Are there any senators' comments at this time? Yes.
I'm also one of the vice presidents of the Marketing Association, and we have a LinkedIn workshop today in La Rive 101. Please show up if you want to update your profile or learn about LinkedIn.
Nice. Vice President Souza.
I'm still doing the VP check-in, so if you haven't signed up for one yet, please do. They're not that long. They take like 5-10 minutes, but like in every one I've had so far, I feel like I got some good information that I didn't have before, or was able to help answer questions that like were just like random. So I feel like they are definitely beneficial. So please sign up for them. I believe their link is in the Kodiak. If it's not, that I'll resend it in the group me. I'll send it a few different places that way. You guys can access it because I know it's been a little while.
Any other senators' comments at this time? Yes, Senator Goddard.
Just a reminder, Golden Bear Fur Day is continuing on right now through the rest of a good portion of the semester. Academic preview days are starting to wrap up this week. We do have one that did get postponed. That'll be after spring break. And also open house is this upcoming weekend. So be aware to see some more prospective students on campus, and it being a little busier Sunday.
Any last second comments? Yes, Senator.
So I just personally want to thank the Student Senate itself, mainly Kat, for participating in Mario Kart this past Saturday. The carts were really good. Your cart was really good. Just the top just broke off because it was going under the bridge. Yeah, so I just want to personally thank you for participating.
It looked really cute.
Before the race.
Okay,
It was probably off of Rainbow Road a lot.
now we're gonna move into the reclamations discussion, and for this, I'm gonna hand the floor to Treasurer Pearl.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to call the Student Senate into an executive session.
Okay, per our rules, the president, vice president, treasurer, and legislative chair have the authority to call us into an executive session at any time, or any of the senators may motion for it. An executive session means that the meeting is now closed to only members of the Student Senate and our advisors. So I apologize to anyone else that is in the gallery, but if you're not, Bridget or Greg, I'm gonna ask that you just leave the room at this time. Thank you for your understanding. So we have to vote to leave the executive session. So all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Passes. All right, the floor is yours for the the reclamations.
All right, so first we are going to start the Actuarial Science Club. So at this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate reclaim $71.46 from the Actuarial Science Club.
So moved.
Second.
I'm allocating a minute. The floor is yours.
So Actuarial Science Club responded to my initial outreach. They responded with their breakdown for what they're going to spend for the rest of the semester, and then told me that the 7146 was unneeded.
Any questions or comments about that? Okay, seeing none, since this is a consented to reclamation, I'm just gonna voice vote all of them for today. If there's anything where there's more discussions, I will do roll calls, but for this one, we're gonna do a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed, those abstaining, motion passes. Floor is yours again.
At this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate reclaim $38.05 from the American Society of Mechanical Engineers.
So moved.
Okay.
Allocating a minute, floor is yours.
It's gonna be the same story for a lot of these, but basically they responded to my outreach with their plans for the semester, and $38.05 was what was left.
All right, any questions or comments? Seeing none, we're moving to a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Floor is yours.
At this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate reclaim $142.06 from the Association for Computer Machines.
So moved.
Second.
Minute, the floor is yours.
Once again, they responded to my outreach this past Friday with the rest of the purchases that I actually put through on Friday. And they said they don't have any other things that they would like to purchase for this year. So 142.06 is what we can reclaim.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Floor is yours.
At this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate reclaim $2,450 from the cheerleading.
So moved. Second. Allocate a minute. The floor is yours again.
Cheerleading team actually wasn't a club on my audit list based on how their spending had went, but they did reach out to me saying that they had budgeted out the purchases for the rest of the spring, and $2,450 was what we could reclaim from them.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? One abstention. Motion passes.
At
Floor is
this
yours.
time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate reclaim $33.30 from the chess club.
So moved.
Second.
Minute, floor is yours.
Chess club was a starter this year, and they said the only thing that they wanted to purchase was their chess sets and like timers and stuff, of which has already been purchased. So $33.30 is what was left over.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes.
At this time, I make the recommendation that the Student Senate reclaim $80 from Mahler United Nations.
So moved.
Second.
Minute, the floor is yours.
Their treasurer responded saying that their club, it's a starter. It hasn't quite gone how they were anticipating it to. they're hoping to pick up with the spring, so we basically just cut their 160 allocation in half, and then they said things don't end up working out, then we can reclaim the rest.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining?
Aye.
One abstention. Motion passes. Floor is yours.
At this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate reclaim $450 from the Pre-Law Society.
So moved.
Second.
Minute. Floor is yours.
Same thing, Treasurer responded, said that their initial law school trip that they hoped to this year is not, unfortunately, not going to be able to happen. But they do still have some other things planned, so they asked me if they could keep $300 for that. We took back the $450 of their $750.
All right. Questions or comments? Seeing none. Voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Floor is yours.
Last one. At this time, I make the recommendation that Student Senate reclaim $20 for the STEP team.
So moved. Minute. The floor is yours.
In their club sport budget from this year's STEP team had indicated that they wanted to purchase new uniforms, of which they did. I believe they were $1,110. So $20 is what was left. And a thing to note with club sports too is that they also typically bring in anywhere from until like $500 to $1,500 in fundraise revenue. So hypothetically, if they wanted to do stuff this semester, they have some funding money from the fall and then additional from the spring to lean on.
All right. Questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. All right. That is it for the reclamations. Yes.
Like I said, next week, we're gonna have some more reclamations, anywhere between like 5 and 10. And also I know some of these seem like low amounts, but given the position we're in, honestly, at this point, like anything is gonna help. So thank you all for sticking through.
Yeah. At this time, I make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes.
What do you want me to do? Just go over there?
No, the
Oh.
Some people can't take trying to deafen me.